Welcome to the second day of the Karnataka Composers Day program. Today, we bring two eminent scholars and researchers, one a historian and the other a Natyacharya. Dr. Vasundhara Filiosa was born in Haveri, Karnataka, to Pandit Chennabasavappa Kavali 8 decades ago in an environment soaked in Sanskrit and Kannada culture. Dr. Filiosa is a historian and epigraphist, exploring the archaeological and literary past of Karnataka while helping to spread knowledge and its appreciation outside. In the year 2002-2003, Rotary Mysore presented her a certificate of appreciation in recognition of her work for the betterment of our country in the field of archaeological research on temples and epigraphy of Karnataka, or as it's called, the Vijayanagara Empire. Her work has been recognized by both the Government of Karnataka and Government of India, along with many organizations in India and abroad. Along with her husband, Dr. Pierre Sylvain Filiosa, eminent Indologist and Sanskrit scholar, she works on Karnataka temples, especially the incredible edifices in northern Karnataka. Some of the awards she has received are the Vidyaranya Prashasti, Chidananda Prashasti, and has received the title Itihasa Sanskriti Shri by the Kannada Itihasa Academy. In 2008, she was elected the president of the 22nd Congress of the Karnataka History Academy. She has delivered many lectures in France, China, and India, has innumerable publications in French, Kannada, and English. She is also keenly interested in Hindustani music, dance, and drama. Namaste. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Namaha Foundation for the Arts Conversations with Gurus, Scholars, Natyacharyas as part of the Karnataka Composers Day 5th year celebration. Today we have with us Srimati Dr. Vasundhara Filiosa from Paris. She has done, Namaste ma'am, welcome. And she has done immense research on the temples of Karnataka. And we were very excited to have her here with us. And she will share her experiences and what she has learned from her research about the temples in Karnataka. This is Naina Shastri, founder director of Namaha Foundation for the Arts, in conversation with Dr. Vasundhara Filiosa. Thank you, ma'am. Namaste. Welcome to Karnataka Composers Day 5th year celebration. We are looking forward to your insights into our Karnataka history and architecture and culture. So, ma'am, without waiting anymore, we will just jump straight into the topic. And if you could tell us a little bit his history about temples in India in general and in particular Karnataka. What is the, how did they come about? How were they created? Why were they created?
Thank you very much for inviting me. And I'm very glad and I'm very much honored to be invited and to be with you all today. Naina Shastri said many things about me, but I don't know how far I deserve it. Anyway, I shall try to justify, do some justice to her words with my lecture. I hope I'll succeed in that.
I'm sure.
What I would like to say is that cruelest animal on the earth is man. So he needs to be controlled and he must have something. And for that, our ancestors, they understood that he needs to be controlled. And so he said they found some very good instrument or means, and that is called religion. And it is the greatest contribution of man to the humanity. Every religion has some head at this religion. It is led by one person, and we can say person or energy. And that if we say energy, an ordinary man will not understand it. So they give the form or human form or some form, and mostly it is human form. And for this human form, in Europe, they called it Christ, and then God, and God's agent is Christ. In Arab countries, they called Islam, and their leader is Allah. And in India, the religion was called Hindu Dharma, in Hinduism, and for the leader of that Hinduism is Deva, Dieu. And this Deva, the word Deva, and it's the same word in Latin, Deus, and in Greek, Theos. So they have the same origin and same meaning. You see. And in the Europe, the God is just alone. He has no family, and Allah, what is he? And but only in India, our gods have wives, children, and their servants, and their devotees, their vehicles, and all this.
Yeah.
And king of the world.
King of the world.
And since God is the king of the world, and king has a big palace, and and apartments for his wives and children and all this. So the god must have a palace, a palatial building, palatial residence.
Okay.
And that palatial residence is called Devalaya. Alaya means residence. It's a three-word word. It's composed of two words, Deva and Alaya. Deva is God, and Alaya is
home,
a house, residence. So Devalaya means, and it's a long translation, the temple, but unfortunately we don't have any other word in English. It was not built right from the first day like this.
Okay.
It has its own history. It was an evolution. It went through the many stages. And in the beginning, if you take the history of Karnataka, it starts with Kadambas. And Kadambas ruled from 3rd century AD or to the CE up to 5th century.
Okay.
But there, the buildings we don't have, although they ruled from Goa and all that, Banavasi, their capital was Banavasi. There was a famous temple of Madhukeshwara. But what we say that Madhukeshwara temple today, it was not like this during Kadamba period.
Okay.
It had undergone many changes.
I see. Okay.
Yes. But the real construction of temples starts with Chalukyas of Badami. Chalukyas, there are two dynasties, Chalukyas of Badami and Chalukyas of Kalyan.
Okay.
So the Chalukyas of Badami, they ruled from the 5th century AD to 757 AD.
Okay.
And in the beginning, they were not building the temples, but building art was not known. So they were excavating the caves. Huge rocks, they would excavate and install some gods there.
Okay.
This building art starts in Karnataka from 635 AD.
Okay.
That was the first temple built in Karnataka.
Okay.
And that is at Aihole. And that is in Megute. And if you can show that temple in the video.
Yes. I will.
First video.
Yes, I will just show it right now. So this is the temple that.
Yes.
This is the first temple, Meguti.
Yes, Meguti. This is the first temple. He doesn't mention what was built there, how he built and all that. This temple is where this temple has an inscription. Inscription means what is written on the stones, and these inscriptions are very important for rewriting the history of. And it gives us the date that the temple was built in 635, and it was dedicated to one Jaina Tirthankara.
Okay.
It was not a Hindu temple, but whatever is the case may be, this is considered as the first temple built by man.
Oh, all in Karnataka or all over?
All over South.
South, I see. Okay.
Yes. It mentions the names of two poets, Kalidasa and Bharavi.
Oh, okay. So Kalidasa is officially mentioned in the temple there.
Yes, in that temple inscription,
I see.
and it is 635. So
Huh.
that helps us to give fix the date that Kalidasa lived before that date.
Correct.
635.
Yes.
And, and it is in Karnataka, and I'll come to this point why Kalidasa and Bhairavi were mentioned, because their works were very much known in Karnataka, very much read in Karnataka.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
And then it continues to be built temples, and the style was from North India. That is called the Nagara style and the Vesara style, and it was not yet fixed for the South Indian style.
Okay.
Now we have Dravidian style. All these South Indian temples are called Dravidian Shaili. Dravidian style. But at that time, it was not known.
Okay.
So the first temple that was built in Dravidian style was by this Batami Chalukya king, Vijayaditya. He ruled over Karnataka 695 to 733 AD. And he built the temple to Vijayeshwara in Pattadakal. It was not in Aihole, but they chose the capital, Pattadakal, which is about 15 kilometers from Aihole. Yeah, you can show the second.
Which has been built in the first sort of the Dravidian architectural format.
And in this, Pattadakal is a site museum. There are already, they started building big temples. And this Vijayeshwara temple is here. I can show you. This Vijayeshwara temple is here. And you note these two temples here. This one and this one.
One on the right?
Yes, this one and this one. Okay. And these two temples were built by two queens of King Vikramaditya II of this Badami Chalukya dynasty.
Okay.
This first temple here, it's a biggest one, biggest of all temples, to commemorate their victory over the Pallavas.
Okay.
The King Vikramaditya, he conquered Pallavas thrice.
Okay.
And first temple here, the biggest one, this is called Lokeshwara. So the names of two queens is Loka Mahadevi and Trilokya Mahadevi.
Okay.
And Loka Mahadevi built a temple, and it is called Lokeshwara. And Trilokya Mahadevi built another temple, and that was called Trilokeshwara.
Okay.
And in the Loka Mahadevi's temple, there is an inscription that she honors the architect who built that temple.
Okay.
And it was so perfect that she calls him this Gundan. His name is Gundan. And Gundan is the Tenkana Dishe Sutradhari. Tenkana. And this inscription was first read and published by the Fleet, a British epigraphist during this colonial time. And he misinterpreted this one. For him, Tenkana Dishe means Tamil Nadu.
Oh, okay.
Karnataka is not in the Tenkana, it is not in the south. You see how the British were thinking about it.
Correct, yes.
And they have done a lot of injustice to Karnataka. That is, unfortunately, not many people speak about it.
Recognize that, yeah.
They don't point it out. This one. And why he thought of it is that there is a Kailasnatha temple at Kanchipuram. Kanchi was the capital of Pallavas. There's Kailasnatha temple. And he says that Kailasnatha is all in South Indian style. And this is also in South Indian style. It is so Tenkada Deshe means South Indian style. And that architect from South from Kanchipuram, King Vikramaditya brought him and he built the temple. There are greatest mistakes here.
Okay.
Two or three greatest mistakes I can tell you, I can point out. Because Vijayaditya ruled over Chalukya kingdom, and his contemporary was Rajasima in Kanchipuram.
Okay.
Mm. They were contemporaries.
Ah.
And Rajasimha built Kailasnatha temple.
Hmm.
And at the same time, Vijayaditya built Vijayeshwara temple at Pattadakal.
Karnataka.
And both are in South Indian style.
Okay.
So already that the South Indian style, the Dravidian style was already known in Karnataka.
Karnataka.
And
Yes.
in that, and when it is known,
Hmm.
why that queen should bring an artist from the enemy's country, where her husband had conquered him.
Correct. Correct.
Yes. And bringing him and honoring him thrice, not even once.
Ah.
Honoring him. Is it possible?
Right. Huh.
He was not a fool to do that one.
Right.
But she was such a perfect, and she too must have been very cultured lady. She
Correct.
must have contributed her ideas.
Right.
And this Lokeshwara temple in Pattadakal,
Hmm.
compared to Kailasnatha,
Mhm.
it's very rich in iconography.
I see. Okay.
In Kailasnatha,
Huh.
many the themes are repeated.
Okay.
For example, Ganga Avatarana
Huh.
and Shiva killing Kama
Huh. Huh.
and this Nataraja poses.
Huh. Huh.
These are repeated often.
Correct.
But in Lokeshwara temple,
Huh.
you don't find a single story
Huh.
repeated.
Wow. Okay.
It's very rich.
Huh.
It's old. It's like a book of mythology and Sanskrit literature, open books,
Everything in one place.
everything.
Huh.
And in as I told you, the Kalidasa and Bharavi are mentioned in that
Description.
inscription of 635.
Right.
So their works were very much known in Badami Chalukya's kingdom
Keep time. Yeah.
this time.
Right.
And probably they were enacted and
Correct.
danced
They were already. Yeah. They were already
already.
being
And on some pillars,
Mhm.
you find the depiction of the Shakuntala scenes.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Very nice.
He's reclining on a slab, and
Huh.
he sees there. He
Huh.
sees, oh my, the idol of my eyes is
Huh.
lying there.
Huh.
She's so thin and so thin and suffering like that.
Correct. Huh.
So, and actually that the scene is depicted there. And
Huh.
another thing we get from these sculptures,
Huh.
that um, they were enacted in open air.
Huh. Huh. Huh.
Yeah.
Amphitheater kind of thing.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. So like this, and this Bharavis also we find Bharavi is famous is Kiratarjunia.
Ha 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 ha. Kiratarjuna.
Kiratarjuna is the
Huh.
Bharavis. And this whenever you say Kiratarjuna, you just show the Dana fighting between the Shiva and Arjuna, and then Arjuna Shiva gives him this
Correct.
one.
Correct.
Whereas in a Bharavi, he says that when Shiva, when Shiva has to uh, go into kill that Mukasura,
Mhm.
he doesn't go alone.
Hmm.
He takes all his army with him,
Hmm.
and the leader was Skanda,
Okay.
Kumara, his
Kumara.
son.
Huh. Huh. Huh.
And they were all dressed like the Kiratas.
Okay. Oh, okay. Huh.
And Skanda first he goes and fights with Arjuna, and
Huh.
he comes back that he cannot vanquish him because he knew that his father should do that work.
Okay.
Mm. And then Shiva comes,
Huh.
and they were fighting.
Right.
And in the center of that panel,
Mhm.
Shiva and Arjuna, they are fighting mushta mushti.
Okay. Huh.
They are fighting.
Fist
And
fight.
that is shown here. And it is shown little bigger than other images,
Okay.
because this is of course, Shiva and Arjuna, they are fighting.
Uh-huh.
There is another idea. This is the union of Jivatma and Paramatma.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
And Bharavi, he says that when they were fighting, they were giving blows with
Uh-huh.
their fists,
Uh-huh.
and it was so loud as if the rocks were cracking in a cave. You see what
Okay.
noise?
It was
It
that.
is such a deafening noise
Correct.
if a rock cracks in the cave.
Cave. Huh.
And how to show that one, that
Huh.
idea?
Huh.
Yes. You see how to show that the deafening noise.
Correct.
So the artist had introduced Parvati there in that fighting scene,
Huh.
and she had put her hands on the
And the years. Oh.
yeah. You
Beautiful.
should, for the interpreting these things, you should know that sequences of the
Correct.
text.
Correct.
It's not in Pattadakal and in Paramichalak and the monuments.
Mhm.
This Bharata's Natya Shastra was very popular.
Huh.
It was very much practiced.
Okay.
And there was one dancer called Achalan.
Huh.
Achalan, he was so well versed in Bharata's Natya Shastra. He says that he who knows what is Agratala Sanchara.
Okay.
You know in the dance,
Yes.
Agratala Sanchara.
Yes.
Yes, Agratala Sanchara.
Huh.
And he could explain it from the Bharata's Natya Shastra and show it
Ah,
in the dance.
in dance.
Then only he can be called Natasevya.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that is there in the inscriptions in
It
the.
is in the inscription. It is in them. And the text of Bharata is not mentioned. And
Ah,
it is called Bharatagama. It is not just a Bharata Natya Shastra. It is
Shastra.
called Bharatagama. And
Okay.
Agama means these are the treatises
Uh-huh.
on different subjects and
Correct.
mainly on architecture, the
Right.
temple art and architecture
Correct.
and rituals.
Right.
So it is called Bharatagama for dance.
Okay. Very interesting. So this
Yes.
amazing how
And uh,
this knowledge is never mentioned anywhere.
no, because who bothers to read that? No, those inscriptions. It's very difficult. And what Fleet had said that
Huh.
this artist came from Kanchipuram and he had built a temple imitating Kailasnatha temple.
Right.
Most of the 99% of historians they repeat that one.
Hmm.
Venkanadeshi Sutradhari. This is
Correct.
misinterpreted.
Huh.
And no, actually, he was from the Tenkana means Disha has, of course, the direction. First meaning is direction.
Correct.
Disha.
Uh-huh.
And another one of the meanings, there are many meanings for Disha,
Mhm.
and one of the meanings is style also.
Okay. Okay. So just southern style it could think
Yes.
dish.
Tenkana Sutradhari means he is the main architect of
Architect
the style in the
south
In the South Indian style
style.
of
Got it.
building temples.
Huh.
And that is why she had honored him thrice
Huh.
with giving him some patika,
Huh. Huh.
that bands
Huh.
with
Huh.
3 lines of gold line.
Oh, okay.
Very, very gold.
Huh. Huh.
Yeah.
Huh. Huh.
Yes.
Nice.
So this is, he deserves it. And
Correct.
that temple, if you see, you feel that he deserves it.
Yeah. Hmm.
That one. And that is the first temple in perfect South Indian style.
Okay.
Whether it is a temple in the in the south or north, east or west, the
Mhm.
main architectural elements are the same:
Okay.
Garbhagriha
Right.
and mandapa.
Correct.
And mandapa.
Mhm.
And the interpretation of other architectural elements differ.
Hmm. So how
And in hmm?
so how did the so there is a certain so how did the temples then evolve? Now today we have the Gopuram
Yes,
style.
yes, I'm coming to that one. And so in the Vadami Chalukyan times,
Uh-huh.
it was just a temple with Garbhagriha
Uh-huh.
and Sukhanasi. I'll show you plan of the temple
Okay. Let me-
in the slides.
The plan. This is the plan of the temple.
Yes, this is the plan. So
Okay.
this is much easier for me to explain.
Uh-huh.
So this is the general plan of the temples built during Badami Chalukya period.
Okay.
And of course, this is Garbhagriha.
The
You
main
see,
here inside after the numbers.
in the center, in the center. No, these are the pillars. This is the center.
So when
Yes,
I'm
that
pointing
is.
with my
Yes,
arrow,
yes.
that's the
That is Garbhagriha. It is called Garbhagriha.
Huh.
And there the linga is installed. The
Oh,
main god is installed. Whether if it is a Shaiva temple linga and if it is a Vaishnava temple, Vishnu is installed. Vishnu's images, and if it is goddess shrine,
uh-huh.
goddess is whatever
The deity.
image dedicated to that temple that will be there.
Right.
And then the next chamber is called Sukhanasi.
Hmm.
This one, yes.
Ah,
blank list. Yes,
got it.
that is called Shukanasi.
Okay.
Shukanasi means no, parrot, parrot's beak. It has
Uh-huh.
nothing to do with the parrot's beak, but
Okay.
this space is called Shukanasi,
Mm-hmm.
and this is where the priest keeps his affairs and all these things.
Ah,
And
okay.
the devotees have no right to go up to there.
Oh,
And then after the Shukanasi, there is a empty space,
mm-hmm.
and afterwards you see all these black the numbered black squares are there. They
Yes.
are the emplacements of pillars.
Pillars. Okay.
Yes, pillars, and each pillar is a square one,
Mm-hmm.
and it has on the top of the pillar you have some story depicted.
Okay.
And I told you this the story of Shakuntala, and then no, Bharavi's this one,
Uh-huh.
no, Kiratarjunia.
Right.
So these are depicted on this. These are not the only two stories, but many other stories are depicted from derived from mythological texts like Mahabharata and Vishnu Purana,
Mhm.
Ramayana, and um, Bhagavata. Bhagavata, they say it is the 10th century, but
Okay.
this is the 8th century temple.
All right.
There are some traces of the Bhagavata Purana.
Okay.
So we can say that the Bhagavata Purana, it was existing in a small scale,
Right.
and in 10th century it was
Beginning
enlarged and many stories were added.
beginning stages.
Yes. And in this temple, there is one interesting. I think I should speak about this once again. I should speak about this temple some other time. This
Sure.
time, yeah.
Yes, that will be.
In this temple, there is on one pillar. There is a birth of Krishna, and
Okay.
Krishna is born. Krishna
Huh.
is born, and he has to be taken to the other pillar, no, Brindavana.
Correct.
That's the normal story is there.
Correct. Correct.
But as soon as Krishna is born, he is taken to a Shiva temple.
Oh, okay.
Because in Shiva Purana, it
Huh.
is said that Krishna is born on the earth by the grace of Shiva. And then
Transition
he
journey.
is taken to, he crosses the Yamuna River and then taken to Brindavana.
Interesting. Huh.
Yeah. So for this, you should know Shiva Purana. You
Correct.
should know
Yeah.
Shiva Purana, and then this is the stories there.
Correct.
This. So there are like this. There are many stories, and in one of these seventh or eighth pillar,
Yeah.
there is the story of Ahalya and no, Ahalya and um, Indra.
Huh.
Indra story.
Huh. Huh. Huh.
That
Huh.
is in Ramayana. It is a very common story.
Correct. Yes.
But
Yes.
Indra, when he comes there, he
Mm-hmm.
is disguised as a Gautama Rishi,
Huh. Yes.
and they were very discreet in that.
Correct. Huh.
But here on this temple, on this pillar, it is very ostentatious.
Okay.
So this was not derived from Ramayana. There
Huh.
is another there is a story that there is another text called Yoga Vasishtha.
Okay.
In the Yoga Vasishtha, there is a story that there was it is Yoga Vasishtha. It is written for the to show the importance of yoga,
Okay. Huh. Huh.
and it is illustrated with many stories.
Huh. Huh.
And
Okay.
amongst one of the stories is that there was one king, Pradyumna or somebody, his name I forget,
Uh-huh.
and his wife was called Ahalya. And
Okay.
one day Ahalya, she hears about this the story of Ramayana about
Uh-huh.
Ahalya and Indra,
Yeah.
and then she says, well, no, when my name is Ahalya, why shouldn't I have one Indra as my lover?
Oh, okay.
And she tells her confidant, her Dasi,
Uh,
to get her one paramour.
okay.
And she says, in the town there is one young Brahman boy called Vita.
Uh,
His name is Indra. I'll bring him. And
okay.
she
Uh,
brings him, and
uh,
they enjoy the life there and all
uh,
that. So
uh.
that is depicted on this tour.
Oh
On
my,
this tour.
okay. That was like a common man, common sort of
Yes,
a everyday
yes, yes.
person story.
Yes. And then in the Yoga Vasishtha, it continues that the king comes to know that his wife is not loyal to him.
Uh,
So he punishes them, and
uh,
then they come out always smiling. And then king asks them, how come when I punish you,
uh,
you come out so smiling, or always you are smiling? This
uh,
is, now you punish this body, it's a
uh,
perishable body.
correct.
But when you punish that body, we think of the lovely moments we spent together.
Oh, okay. Very,
So the
very.
life they were that shows that they were enjoying the life. At
Yes,
the same time, they were leading strict life also
correct, correct. Yes,
during
they
this.
had all
Mm.
the, yeah.
So this is the architecture of this Badami Chalukya period,
Uh-huh,
and in between this pillars and the wall, that
mhm,
black one is there,
uh-huh,
and there is a passage
uh-huh.
for ambulation, ambulatory passage,
Okay,
deambulation, for going around the god.
around us.
Pradakshina, what we call it as
Yeah, yeah.
pradakshina.
But they cannot go into the Garbhagudi.
No, no, they cannot.
Only around the pillars like this.
Only around this garba, this pradakshina, they
Ah,
can go.
go. Ma'am, is there any kind of a, I see that you have numbered them in a particular way. Is there
Yes.
any particular design to the numbers?
Uh, Usually, these
Outer numbers, I see
some
the black
some
ones.
of the on some of the odd numbers we have this Shaiva stories,
Uh-huh.
and even numbers usually it is Krishna,
I,
Vishnu stories, Vaishnava stories.
I see.
But
Okay.
it is not it's not the hard and fast rule.
Okay. Okay.
Sometimes it had changed,
Huh,
but
huh.
often it was like that.
I see. So one set of pillars
No,
about.
it is for our convenience sake we have numbered them.
Got
Yes,
it.
ma'am.
Okay. Okay.
And God, as I told you, that God had Shiva's vehicle for vehicles also there were shrines.
Right.
So Shiva's vehicle is Nandi. So
Uh-huh.
this is Nandi shrine.
So the
After
small
the temple,
other
you have one
on
small
the outside, this small
outside
square
this.
temple.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then there are many small shrines are all around,
Huh.
and these are we don't know for what gods, and they're all empty.
Oh, okay, okay.
Mm.
Were there gods? Have they been removed from there, or is there
No,
any indication that
these temples were built in. This is the in, 7th century temple, 8th century temple built,
right?
and then in course of time there were many invasions, and
Correct.
especially between 1295 and no, 1325,
Yes.
during this the period of chaotic period,
Correct.
many temples were plundered
Destroyed.
and
Yeah.
all that.
Yeah.
And afterwards, during British period,
Mhm.
many temples were emptied.
Also destroyed. Okay. Emptied. Huh. Huh.
Emptied, emptied,
Emptied. Emptied.
emptied.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they were the statues were taken to different countries, different
European
museums
countries. Yeah.
abroad.
Yes.
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 So
Yeah. Yeah.
and one thing I tell you to notice in these temples,
Mhm.
that there was no shrine to goddess.
Okay.
Uh,
Only
there
the
was
male
only the
female.
god,
Huh.
because the concept is that Shiva is always with his consort.
Okay.
According to Shaiva texts,
Huh.
Shiva and Shakti, they are always together.
Together. Okay.
Shiva cannot move alone
Huh.
without Shakti,
All right.
and Shakti cannot move alone without Shiva.
Okay.
And to give you a better idea,
Uh-huh.
in some of the Agama texts,
Mhm.
it is said that we have in our Indian alphabets,
Mhm.
the Swara
Mhm.
are Shiva,
Mhm.
and the consonants are Shakti.
Okay.
Consonant and
Okay.
semi-vowels and all that. The
Right.
remaining is Shakti.
Correct.
And Shakti is Sthula. She's heavy,
Huh. Huh.
cannot move.
Okay.
And when and with just with the consonant, you cannot do anything.
Correct. Yes.
If you say just ka,
Right.
yeah. But
Nothing.
if you add a, it
Right.
becomes ka.
Yeah.
So there's a union of Shiva and Shakti.
Oh, nice. Wow.
Mm. So when there is the union of the consonant and the swara,
So,
you
yeah.
have nada.
Okay.
Mm.
Nice.
So this is union of Shiva and Shakti, and but unfortunately, during British period, this Shiva Linga means phallic and all that. The wrong interpretation was given. That interpretation comes to the comes in the picture only after 10th century. This
Okay.
Earlier in the first, second centuries, when this linga worship was very much in use, this was not the idea. Shiva is Shiva. He is formless, so the form it's a formless form that is linga, and this is a pillar actually, a big pillar in the construction of the a basic pillar in the construction of the three worlds.
Okay.
And that pillar comes in a short form for the worship of
Shiva.
devotees
For the human
in the
people.
form of linga. Yes,
Uh-huh.
this is called linga. And linga means it's not phallic. It's the first meaning of linga is sign,
Sign. Okay.
like SIGN, sign.
Uh-huh.
Okay. It signifies that it is Shiva.
Okay. Uh-huh.
The
Okay.
meaning of the linga is it's a sign, that means it is a sign of Shiva. Walls of these external walls of these temples, no, the many Shiva Leelas
Mm-hmm.
are depicted
Okay.
in the form of sculptures.
Okay. Huh.
Where did this idea come? That is Shiva, when the world was doomed, when world was covered in the darkness, there was only water, and from there comes out a light, and from that light comes one energy,
Okay.
and that was called Shiva.
Mm.
And that Shiva, he was very subtle, could not be perceived from ordinary eyes.
Oh.
Only yogis can to see it, perceive it from their yogic eyes, not even ordinary eyes. Yes. So, for the good of the world, from this the Shiva energy comes out another energy called Sadashiva.
Okay.
And this Sadashiva has five faces. Four faces are on four directions, and the fifth one is on the top.
Top. Huh.
Yes. They have different names. Tatpurusha, Aghora, Satyojata, and Vamadeva,
Right.
and the last one is Ishan.
Hmm.
So this is these five faces, and these but it is very difficult for an ordinary person to realize Shiva with five faces, because you have to recite mantra, and from mantra you should form a mantra murti.
Okay.
It is, for an ordinary person, it is very difficult. So, for the sake of his devotees, the Shiva takes another, from this Shiva, Maheshwara form comes, and
Okay.
this Maheshwara has 25 forms,
Okay.
and
Okay.
they are called Shiva Leelas,
I see.
Leela Murti.
Leela
And
Murthy.
these Leela Murti are depicted on the first external facades of the temple.
I see. Okay. Okay.
So you should know all these 25 stories, and
Right.
there is an order that Tatpurusha is very magnificent. So all the like magnificent kingly
Hmm.
forms like Nataraja, these are formed, and Agora is terrific. So all fighting scenes on the south side, because it is facing south,
Uh-huh.
and Sadyojata is like a Brahma. It,
Okay.
so on the west side, all the forms of Shiva with books and all that is shown.
Okay.
And Vamadeva is very handsome.
Huh.
Vama Mukha, the north face of Shiva is very handsome. So all these handsome Leela of the Shiva are depicted on the north side.
Okay. Okay.
On the north side, you will see this Ardhanari and
Huh.
Harihara Murti,
Huh.
and there is another. So these Murti, and from where did they get all these ideas? Means from second century BC or AD. It is still discussed. It is not yet decided. There was the second century to 15th century
Hmm.
AD. There was one religion called Lakulisha Pashupata.
Huh. Okay.
Lakulashaiva.
Lakodi Shaiva.
Lakulashaiva. And this Lakulisha comes on the earth. Lakulisha means so Shiva.
Huh.
Lakula means a stick. He
Okay.
makes this Veda as a stick. He
Huh.
holds it and he comes on the earth.
Huh.
And this Lakulisha had four disciples, start four religions on the earth.
Okay.
Mm. And these four religions are Kalamukha, the Pashupata,
Huh.
Kalamukha, and Kapalika and Kaula.
Okay.
So these Kalamukha and Pashupata, they were followers of Vedic path.
Okay.
And the Kaula and Kapalika, the Vamapatha,
Huh.
that is Tantric.
Tantric. Huh. Huh. Huh.
So those who were following this Vedic path,
Mhm.
they came to the south.
Okay. Okay. Huh.
And North India, this tantric path
Tantric
is that
form. Huh.
Assam and Bengal, you know what is happening, what is
Correct.
their religion, and the tantric practices are there.
Correct.
And to maintain a harmony and balance in the society,
Mhm.
this the Lakula Shaivas, the Lakula Shaiva, especially this Kalamukha and Pashupata,
Mhm.
they were worshipping all the three gods.
Okay.
There is no difference between Shiva and Vishnu or Shiva and Brahma, Brahma and Vishnu,
Oh,
because Shiva is the main god,
right.
and when he stands on the Ekapada Murti on one foot,
Right.
all the other gods are emanated from him. So
Okay.
all the other gods are Ansh of Shiva.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
this was the idea, and the Vishnu images you find in Shiva temple, and in Shiva temples you have Vishnu images, and in Vishnu temple you find Shiva images during temples built during this period, and they popularized the worship of Shiva in the
Hmm.
form of linga. With Badami Chalukyas, so
Hmm.
that temple construction starts.
Right.
This one. And all these feminists, they say feminism,
Uh-huh.
but actually the South Indian, perfect South Indian style is given to us by a queen, and nobody remembers her.
Oh, okay.
Do- does this feminist know this fact?
Hmm.
Lok
Probably.
Mahadevi and Trilokya Mahadevi, they are the two queens
Huh.
who gave us this style of building temples in South Indian style.
Wow. Hmm. Hmm.
And it was continued. It was continued, and it is still continued.
Right. Right.
And the third one joins them. Hmm. And after this Badami Chalukya period,
Uh-huh.
there were Rashtrakutas
Right.
from 750 7 to 940, 940, 940 or 975 AD.
Okay.
And from 10th century onwards,
Mhm.
Kalyan Chalukyas come to the power. We
Okay.
don't have many temples of Rashtrakuta in Karnataka.
Uh-huh.
The famous Rashtrakuta temple is Yellora, but
Okay.
unfortunately it is in Maharashtra.
Maharashtra. Yes.
Yeah. And this the Yellora temple is carved in a big rock.
Correct.
But for that temple, the model is our Lokeshwara temple.
Oh,
And
okay.
Pattakal. There are many sculptures which are, and it is Lakula Shiva temple.
Okay. Okay. Uh-huh.
Whether it is Lokeshwara temple or the Yellora temple or Lokeshwara, they are all the Kalamukha or Pashupata temples.
Oh,
Lakul Shiva temple, we can say.
right. Right. Right.
And during this Kalyan Chalukya period, there was a great movement of these Pashupata and Kalamukhas.
Okay.
They received all royal patronage.
Huh.
Most of the kings,
Huh.
their guru was either Pashupata or Kalamukha.
I see. Okay.
And they were preaching
Mhm.
this one, built temples
Mhm.
and worship God
Mhm.
to worship God to have moksha, to
Mhm.
get moksha afterwards for
Right.
the liberty.
Right.
That was the idea. For that, they preached that you should build temples.
Okay. Okay. Huh.
You should build temples,
Hmm.
and not only build temples and get the how you got it built and who built it and all that.
Mhm.
Get it engraved on a
Temple. Stones.
stone
Huh.
slab.
Huh.
And during Kalyan Chalukya period,
Huh.
we have beautifully prepared
Huh.
stone slabs on
Okay.
which letters are engraved like Muttu Ponisidante, that we say in
Like
Kannadam.
pearls.
No?
Like pearls.
Letters
Pearls
are
hung on a
string,
string.
string is not-
Huh.
yes,
Huh.
very beautiful.
Huh.
And most of them are in poetry.
Okay. Huh.
and they are not just no, simple poetry.
Huh.
They are comparable to the this Pampa and Ranna's works,
Huh.
difficult as that one.
Right.
Also, the influence of Sanskrit poets.
Okay. Okay. Huh.
Kalidasa, Bharvi, and
Right.
all other poets. By 10th century, there were many poets in
Correct.
Sanskrit also. Their
Correct.
influence, you feel it in those inscriptions.
Wow. Huh.
And apart from that,
Mhm.
people were even in the Vikramanka Charitra,
Mhm.
Vikramaditya the sixth was a famous king,
Mhm.
and one poet from Kashmir, he comes by Bilana,
Huh.
and Kallana or Bilana, I get confused
Mhm.
between these two names, comes from Kashmir to
Mhm.
see Karnataka,
Okay.
and he was flabbergasted
Huh.
to see that ladies are speaking Prakrit.
Okay. Okay. Huh.
He says that ladies were speaking fluently Prakrit language.
But otherwise, it was not thought that women would be.
Women were not speaking
Mm.
other local languages they were speaking.
Huh.
Here, apart from local language,
Sort of
there were many Prakrit.
literary language of Prakrit.
Yes, sir. So Prakrit is a easiest form of Sanskrit.
Correct. Correct.
And if you see a Sanskrit drama,
Mhm.
you have the main characters like king, ministers, they speak, and kings, guru, they
Mhm.
speak in Sanskrit,
Uh-huh.
and the other characters they speak in Prakrit.
Okay. Okay.
So it was like that.
Huh.
So he said that ladies were that kind of culture that shows that
Cultured. Yeah.
that
Educated,
culture.
cultured. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
And in the most of these inscriptions, we get one or two verses in Prakrit.
Okay. What is the other? So is it like in Halegannada, the inscriptions, or is
Yes,
it
yes, in
more
Halakannada.
in Halegannada?
And if
Okay.
and these inscriptions were sung in those days. There
Okay.
were readers, and they were called readers, Voduvovaru.
Oh,
And
Vodu.
now,
Huh.
now we say Voduvovaru means only in Tamil Nadu, and in Tamil Nadu, Voduvovaru means only the Tevaram they read.
Ah,
But
okay.
In Karnataka, Voduvovaru means those who were reading inscriptions.
Okay. Okay.
And they were explaining it.
Hmm.
And there was a particular way of singing them,
Okay.
because when they sing, the people should understand the meaning
Correct. Correct. Huh. So all that information we can get from the inscriptions
from the
themselves.
inscription. They were called Oduwavaru.
Huh.
The person who came from there to read this inscription and
Huh.
explain and all that. And there are about more than these. It's the greatest contribution of Lakula Shaivas to
Uh-huh.
the Karnataka, Shasana Sahitya,
Okay.
literature, epigraphical literature.
Uh-huh.
And for that, I just draw your attention that for that matter, in India, there are more than 1 lakh inscriptions, more than 100,000 inscriptions are there
Mm.
from all over India, not only in Karnataka. In Karnataka, we have about 25 to 30,000 inscriptions. And what people think that by the grace of British, we
Mhm.
were able to get educated.
Mm.
But if there are so many inscriptions in the temples
Correct.
all over India,
Right.
where the reading was known.
Yes, exactly. Education was known. We had schools.
Education was there, and these
Institutions.
Lakula Shaivas, what they did, this Kalamukha and Pashupada,
Mhm.
wherever they built a temple,
Mhm.
there was a school. They opened a school,
Oh, okay.
and they were teaching all
Huh.
the teaching
Were
the
girls also taught? Did they also go to these schools, or were they
girls were
taught
also
more
going.
girls?
There are some examples. Girls were also
Okay.
going. Yeah,
Okay.
and you will be surprised to know that there was one Chalukya queen called Akadevi.
Uh-huh.
Akadevi,
Uh-huh.
and she founded a university in
Uh-huh.
Bankapura near
Okay.
Haveri,
Mhm.
Bankapura,
Uh-huh.
and the vice chancellor of that university was a lady.
Wow. Okay. Amazing.
Yes, and there are many inscriptions in which ladies were, and many ladies they joined these mathas.
Mhm.
They were called mathas.
Uh-huh.
So, and some of them married the teacher of that matha.
Okay.
All some no gurus, they have their wives and all that. This
Correct.
Kalamukha, and it was not a shameful thing. It was not.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Even I.
And he says she was my goodie.
Good.
That is Shishya. Good is Shishya, and Shishya is goody.
Okay.
Goody, yes. So it is mentioned in many inscriptions, and some of these Kalamukha and Pashupata saints, they were strict to brahmachari.
Uh-huh.
They were observing